Good morning, Sam. It is Monday, June 14th, 2021. Over the last week, I spent some time looking at the Enneagram. I don't necessarily think that they're particularly scientifically accurate, but they are very interesting to look at. Now, if you're not familiar, the Enneagram breaks down human personality into 9 different types. And there's a number of ways to assess which type you are. There's tests that you can do online, but I chose to go at it from a slightly different approach, which was to read in depth through each one of the personalities and look to the one that spoke to me. Look to the one that made me feel embarrassed when I read it. For me, Sam, that was the number 3. Simply put, it is the achiever, the success-oriented pragmatic type, adaptable, excelling, driven, and image conscious. The key motivations they put down here: want to be affirmed, to distinguish themselves from others, to have attention, to be admired, and to impress others. And so looking at that in particular, it sort of spoke to all of the things that I've done in my life. I've always wanted to create things. I've always wanted to make things happen. From an extraordinarily young age, this was this compulsion that I had on a deep human level. And I think I often would tie those creations to my own self-worth. This thing that I've made is a part of me, and if people like it, that means that they like me. I had a hard time separating my artistry from the art that I was generating. When people would say things like, "Oh my goodness, you're so talented at creating film or this project or whatever," I felt like that was a validation of me as a human being. But the bit that I found most frightening, and the bit that I found that felt like it was reading my mind, was when I scrolled down to the bottom of this page and it said addictions. Overstressing the body for recognition, working out to exhaustion, starvation diets, workaholism, excessive intake of coffee. For me, at least, this seems like the first stage in self-assessing who I am and understanding my weaknesses and understanding my strengths. Perhaps pinpoints more exactly the areas in which I should improve. Even that statement is characteristic of being the achiever. The idea of constant self-improvement. I had a friend tell me recently that every time that we talked, to them, it seemed like I had changed a lot. And maybe the distance between these conversations was a couple of months. And I thought about that a little bit. That everything I'm doing, I'm assessing, analyzing, and attempting to improve. How long does it take me to do this? How many laughs did that joke get versus this one? Was telling that anecdote the right thing to say? Next time, let's tell this other anecdote. Or change those words there. Adjust, micro-adjust again. It's not about perfectionism. That's not it at all. It's about achieving high degrees of success and then placing your own value and worth into that success. That's what I'm doing. 3s are self-assured, attractive, and charming. Ambitious, competent, and energetic. They can also be status conscious and highly driven for advancement. They are diplomatic and poised, but they can be overly concerned with their image and what others think of them. They typically have problems with workaholism and competitiveness. At their best, self-accepting, authentic, everything they seem to be, role models who inspire others. Like I said at the beginning, I don't think this is necessarily very scientific, but when you read something like this that feels like they're reading your mind, you have to wonder, how similar are we all? Sam, I'll see you tomorrow.